Good morning, pupils. It's nice to meet you again, and I hope you have been enjoying all the classes you've been listening to or watching on our social media. Right. This morning we are going through some of the things we have learned in the past. We are revising everything, taking everything from the scratch, and I want you to pay attention. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact us. Right. As we take you through all the lessons we have learned, we have been taught from the very start. So let's take them one after the other, starting with the first question. First question is referring to inequality. If you remember, as I take your mind back to inequality, right, we are asked to find the sum of the first 5 possible values of this solution. Now, an inequality question has been solved and this answer has been gotten. Now, we have to find the possible values. So, if we say a number or a value is less than or equals to minus 10, what does that mean? The values must be less than minus 10 and they have to be equal to. So if they are less than or equal to, that means I'm starting from minus 10. Now, so let's list all our values. Remember, I told you we don't use this type of comma when we are listing values. We use this curly bracket to list our values. So if it is less than, I'm not going to start with minus 10. But if it is less than or equals to, I'm starting with minus 10. So the first value is minus 10. Now the question now is, what is the next value that is less than minus 10? And if you remember the way I taught you on the number line, the next value that is less than minus 10 is minus 11, right? That will followed by minus 12, followed by minus 13, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, just one more. Then we're followed by minus 14, right? We close this. So these are the first 5 possible values of the solution, x less than or equals to minus 10, and that is the final answer to that. That's the final answer to that. Hope that is clear. So I'm going straight to question 2. Still referring to inequality, we have a problem here. 4 into bracket x plus 5 plus 2x less than or equals to 80, and we are asked to solve these or find the solutions of the inequality. Right now, to solve this, first thing is to expand this bracket. According to BODMAS, you want to do the bracket first. Right, so if I expand this one, 4 times x is 4x. So 4 times 5 gives me plus 20. Right, then this is outside. You have plus 2x less than or equals to 80. Right, if I rearrange here or collect like terms, I'll be having 4x plus 2x left here. Plus 2x less than or equals to, if this goes to this other side, I'll be having 80 minus 20. Right, so this is 6x less than or equals to, this is 60. Now, if we divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 6, if I divide both sides by 6, right, I'll be having 6x divided by 6 less than or equals to 60 divided by 6 again. Right, so x will be less than or equals to 10. Right, so this is the kind of solution that we may be asked to find the 3 possible values or 4 possible values or a particular number of possible values of these, right? And sometimes you can also be asked to draw maybe the inequality graph. So let me just take that. That's not part of the question, but let me just quickly do that. The inequality graph that shows this one, right? The inequality graph that shows this value will be on your number line, right? So get a center, 0, and then you have a 10 to this side, that's the positive side, and then you have a minus 10 to this side, that is the negative side, right? So if my value is less than or equals to 10, so I have this line and this circle. Now this circle is going to be shaded. I'm shading it because it is less than or equals to. If it had been ordinary less than, I would have left it open. I wouldn't shade it. But because it's less than or equals to, so it's a double way thing, so that's why I'm shading it. Now the question is, my arrow must face a direction that is less than or equals to 10, right? So these are the values. So the values that are less than or equals to 10 are here, right? So this will be x less than or equals to 10. So I'm just adding this to what you're asked to solve anyway. So we go to question 3. Question 3 is taking our mind back to polygon. If you remember what we taught you in polygon, we taught you so many things. So, but this time around we're finding the sum of the interior angles of an isosagon. So the question that comes to your mind is, what is an isosagon? So an isosagon is a 20-sided polygon, right? If you check your notes, you see all this there. right? And we're taught that the sum of the interior angles of any polygon is given as n minus 2 into bracket times 180 degrees, right? So to find the n is the number of sides that the polygon has. So an isosagon is a 20-sided polygon, and that means it has 20 sides. So the sum will be equal to 20 minus 2 times 180 degrees, right? So to find this, the sum will be 20 minus 2 is 18 times 180 degrees. So the sum will be equal to, we can quickly do this. Alright, this is 18. So this is 0. This is 64. I'm having 6 here. Well, 8 times 1 is 8. 8 plus 6 should give me 14. Right? Now 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 8, 8. 1 times 1 is 1. So if you find this sum, right, you're having 0, 4. This is 12. And this is 3. Right? So that gives me a total of 3,240 degrees. So this is the sum of the interior angles of a 20-sided polygon or on an isosagon. Thank you very much for that. So quickly move to question 4. Right, looking at question 4, this is a property of transversal angles, lines, and so on and so forth. You have been previously taught. So I'm going to make use of all the properties I have known. We have introduced you previously to about 3 or 4 properties. I've introduced you to property of angles on the straight line. So if you take a look at this line here, M, 120 and 25 are angles on a straight line. So if I bring them together, so I have M plus 120. If I find their sum, plus 25 degrees, it should give me 180 degrees. So this property here, I have this property from sum of angles on a straight line. On a straight line. That's where I have this property coming from. Right. So on a straight line. So if I add up this one, I'll be having M plus, this should be 145, right? This is 145 degrees equals to 180 degrees. So M is equals to 180 degrees minus 145 degrees, right? So M can give us a total of 180, 145. So I can take 1 from here, you have 7 here, this is 5, and then this gives us 30, that is 0. You have a 35 degrees here. So that is for M, right? So remember, I got M from the property that says the sum of angle on a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. Now, the next thing is to get our K. Now, if you take a look at this line, this is another straight line I can see here. This is another straight line. Another straight line is shown here, and it can angle 120 degrees, 25, and K. And if I look at it on the other side, this other straight line is also anchoring M and Y degrees. So we have just properties of straight line properties here. Or if you want to take it another way, I can easily say that K and M are vertically opposite angles. That's the one I'm going to use because I've used straight line property. So I'm just going to go straight to saying that K is equal to M. How did I get to know that? Right, that says that's a property from vertically opposite angle. Vertically opposite angles are equal, and don't forget we've previously gotten M. So if K is equal to M because they are vertically opposite angles and they are equal, then we can say that K is equals to 35 degrees. Yeah, that is coming from the property that says vertically opposite angles are equal. Now, so if K is 35 degrees, right? So if you take a look at this, I can say that K and Y are on a straight line. If you take a look at this, looking upside down, they are on a straight line. So I'm going to use the property of straight line again here. So we say K plus Y equals to 180 degrees. So sum of angles on a straight line, right? I'm just trying to write this way so that to save the space, right? Now, so remember our K is 35. So 35 degrees plus Y will give us 180 degrees. So Y gives us 180 degrees minus 35 degrees. Right, to solve that, 180, 35. Alright, so this is 7 here. You have 5, you have 4. Right, and you have 1 here. So Y will give us a total of 145 degrees, as you can see from there. So we've gotten all our missing angles, Y, K, and M. Right? That's what the question asks. It's requesting us to find all the values of the missing angle. There are 3 of them. So let's go to the last question. Now the last question is very similar to the previous one. This is also transversal property. These are your straight parallel lines, right? And this is the transversal line, the line across the parallel lines. Now we have just one angle here, and we are asked to find the rest angles here. So we're going to use a lot of properties. Like I have said before, there are 1001 ways of getting your answer. So I'm just going to go by any way that maybe appeals to me, right? So the rest, you may have another way of doing it, other properties that support your answer. As long as you don't disobey any mathematical rule, your answer will be equally right. So I'm going to start with A. Now A and 50 are vertically opposite angles. Remember previously we said that they are equal. So the first answer I'm bringing out here is A, which is 50 degrees. Right, so the property that helps us to find that is vertically opposite angles. Right, helps us to get that. Right, so if A is 50 degrees, now A and P are corresponding angles. So what that means is P is also 50 degrees. How? Because P and A are corresponding angles. So it's corresponding angle property, corresponding angles. Alright, if that is true, what can we still do with our 50? Now, if my A is 50, K can also be 50. How did I get to know that? There's a property that says alternate angles, and alternate angles are equal. So we have alternate angles from there. Alternate angles, they are equal. And so that's how I got my K to be 50. Now, let me come to this 50 here. This 50 and K, they are corresponding angles. Oh, we just got that. So do I use the property of alternate angle to also get that? That's to tell you that what we are doing is correct. Right. Now, if I consider C and 50 degrees, C and 50 degrees are on a straight line. So I can solve that as C plus 50 degrees equals to 180 degrees. These are straight line angles, right? So if I solve this, C equals to 180 degrees minus 50 degrees. So C gives us 130 degrees, right? So if C is 130 degrees by the property of straight line angles, then C and B are corresponding angles, right? So you can get your B, they are vertically opposite angles. So B is equals to C because they are vertically opposite. They are vertically opposite angles, right? If that is true, then I can say that B is also equals to 130 degrees. So if B is equals to 130 degrees, B and X are corresponding as well. So I can say that X is equals to B. How did I get that? By using corresponding properties. So they are corresponding angles. And if that is true, B is 130, so X is also equals to 130 degrees. So what do we have left? Right, we have gotten our X, we've gotten our K. Do we have anything left? We have our Y, right? We saw Y previously. So let me count out all the angles we found out together. We have an A, right, 1. We have P, 2. We have this 3. And we have this 4. What else again? We have this 5. And then we have this 6. So, and then that solves everything. If we count everything together, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 1 that we are yet to find. Alright, let's solve that out. So what about P? Have you found P? Let me see. Have you found P anywhere? Yes. What about A? A is gotten. P is gotten. K is gotten. So what else again? C. C is there. Is C there? What about D? So we've gotten B. What about X? Is X gotten? So what is missing? Now, looking at all the angles that we have here, we have Y left, and if you consider B and Y are alternate angles. So if you look at that property, we can easily say what our Y is. So we say B is equals to Y because it's alternate. They are alternate angles. Alternate angles. Alright, and if that is true, remember we have gotten B previously, so we are saying that Y is equals to 130 degrees. So this is how to apply all the properties of transversal to find the missing angles in the transversal question that involves the transversal property. Right, thank you very much. We've come to the end of today's class and hope to see you next class. And don't forget, all these lessons, you can easily find them on our social media. So go to your Instagram, go to your Facebook and your YouTube page. You'll find all these lessons there. I want you to stay safe and stay connected. Thank you very much.